Okie dokie, welcome back. So if you didn't see the last video, this is basically a continuity of the last video. We recorded on the same time, but today we're talking about ROBOTAXI. ROBOTAXI is obviously something that Tesla is, well, Elon and Tesla, they're really focused on. At least they're very excited about, and it kind of works together with the last video with FSD and what's going to happen with ROBOTAXI and why I think it's a really bad idea. Like last channel, I have my wife here, which is great.
Hi.
Let's just get right into it. ROBOTAXI, and ROBOTAXI is a wonderful idea. I think it's interesting. What did you think the first time you heard about ROBOTAXI?
I thought it's an interesting concept.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what it is. In my mind, I think it's a concept. Okay, and here's my reasonings for it. And because I have my lovely wife here, I'm gonna see what she thinks about it. Now, you again, just like last video, I'm not introducing you to the idea of what we're talking about, and that's mainly because I just kind of want to get the raw information out of her. When it comes to ROBOTAXI, I think it's a great idea. And like you said, the concept is nice.
Yeah, the concept's nice. I mean, it's going to make it so that people don't have to buy cars unless they want to.
Okie dokie. So I got a problem for you. All right. So let's say you decide to be one of the ROBOTAXI customers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? Before we get into that, I'm going to put it this way. You own the car. So I'm going to give you, let's say, the cash. You're going to go out and you're going to buy yourself a Model 3 long range, full self-driving, which by the way right now is idiotically priced, full self-driving, everything is good, you're ready for ROBOTAXI. All right,
everything's set up, everything's good.
Everything's good. So
okay,
you're gonna go to work and send your car off to make you money, man.
So my car's gonna have a job while I have a job. Got it.
Right, exactly. So how does that sound? I mean, it's your car.
Did I get to run any tests on the car to see how it reacts to everything?
Well, yeah, obviously Tesla says it's all good, so...
Yeah, but me?
Sure, it's your car, do whatever you want. So let's pretend you did that for like 2 months.
Okay. I'm still not going to feel exactly 100% good about it because you don't know who's going to get in your car and who's going to do what. I mean, unless you have, I guess, an internal camera system to capture everything.
But the Model 3 does. The Model 3 has the little camera, or the internal camera. And she's like, what are you talking about? But it does.
Okay, I didn't realize it did. Apparently, how do I know my card is secure in the car and they're not going to take it and run with it?
Well, it's a Tesla, it's trackable, so they're not going to be able to take it.
The card, not the car.
What card?
The memory card for the camera.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a cloud-based stuff, so you don't have to worry about the security. They're not going to take your car. Nobody's taking your car.
I'm just worried about what they're going to do in my car.
Oh, okay. So what kind of stuff are they going to do in the car?
Well, let's say they're smokers, so they decide to smoke in the car, even though it clearly states there's no smoking in the car.
Okay, well, they're on camera, so we can probably punish them, right? Like, I mean, we just send them a fine for the cleanup of the vehicle. Okay.
Or something else. I don't know. Maybe they're going to have sex in the back of the car while it's driving.
Ooh, geez. Okay, well, that's going to be a show for you, but nevertheless, there is a point here. Trust me. Okay, so you have your base model, Model 3, you're comfortable with it.
My base model?
Well, not base model, long range, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have your Model 3, you're all happy, the car goes out, makes you money.
Who's going to charge my car?
I don't know. Sorry, nobody has an answer for that, so I have no idea.
Oh. So what, it's going to come back to me with, like, I hope with some battery for me to get home?
Well, more than likely, if I'm Tesla, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to set it up so that, the car knows how much battery you need to get home. And so, or you can set it up to say, like, when it gets to like 30%, it's off work. It comes back to you and you want to make sure you can still get home.
But it might have to finish the ride that it's on.
Well, it can calculate that out. So
beforehand, so it won't take that ride if it's going to cause it an issue?
Let's pretend that's what they're doing. Okay, so now you see there's all of these things, let's say they figured it out, but there's still one more thing here that you're not asking about the car. Well, what happens in a scenario where, let's say, I decide to hire your car and I have 2 kids and one of my kids decide to spill spaghetti all over the back seat. Now, how will you or your car know not to go pick up the next customer who happens to be, wanting to go somewhere with his mother or her mother or whatever? They get in a car and there's like a spaghetti. You see, kind of this is what I'm talking about.
But wouldn't the camera on the inside of the car be able to detect that?
Well, not necessarily, because it's behind the seat of the passenger or the driver, right? So we don't know. You see, as a driver, when you are driving, you know what's happening with your vehicle. You can clean it up before you pick up your next customer. In this case, the car may not be able to. Agreed? Okay. But you know what? It's okay. You'll lose customers there. You're probably going to get a little bit of a bad rating, but you had no way of knowing that. It's not your fault. Okay. But you're comfortable either way, sending out your Model 3 to do the work so that, it's giving you money, it's paying it off. It basically does the work that of two people. You don't have to be there. You can still do your job and the car can do its job, right? How about this? Would you feel the same way if I gave you a Model S or a Model X? You see, I think people are jumping at the idea that's saying, hey, you know what? An affordable car basically is out there, and that's fine. But I'm sure as hell not gonna put out $100,000 taxi. Okay, that's a very expensive taxi. There are reasons that taxis are some of the cheapest cars. I mean, look at it. It's a freaking Prius. We see a lot of Priuses, right?
A lot of taxi drivers.
Toyota Corollas, Priuses, cars that are affordable and what I like to call throwaway cars. Now, that's probably insulting Prius owners. I'm sorry about it, but there are certain cars that are throwaway cars. And those are cars that you can beat up. You can just, it's affordable enough that if it lasts you an X amount of time, you're good. You're okay with getting rid of it.
I mean, you can run it down to the ground, and as long as everything is accessible for you, it's a lot easier to make the repairs on it.
Right. So basically what we're looking at is going back to the previous video. FSD people, if you're going to go out and buy a Model 3, so for example in Canada, here in Vancouver, if you're going to go out to buy a Model 3,
with taxes and everything.
With taxes and all that crazy stuff, because we have stupid taxes here, it's around 81,000 Canadian.
If you want to get the long range, all the goodies.
Without FSD.
Oh, so I'm adding in another 8,000.
So essentially, it's close
closer
to
90.
Yeah, exactly. So you're talking about a $90,000 Canadian.
Well, you don't want to put a $100,000 car out there. Why are you going to put a $90,000 car out there?
But that's kind of my point. You're trusting the public to take care of your things. Now.
And how do you know they're not going to rip any of your seats or anything like that? And who takes care of all the problems that are going to be caused by having passengers in the ROBOTAXI?
Okay, but it's fine. Like I said, Tesla has somehow this figured out, right? So we'll.
Okay,
right? So you can do it. But again, my point here is ROBOTAXI, and don't get me wrong, guys, I am a big fanboy of Tesla. So I'm not trying to diss this idea. I'm just trying to make it make sense for us. Obviously, we are shareholders in Tesla. We definitely love Tesla. There's no questions about that.
No.
What I'm trying to do on videos like these is to kind of explain to you guys, don't get so excited about something. Don't people get overexcited about things like ROBOTAXI. I'm telling you, ROBOTAXI is coming. People get overexcited about full self-driving. Listen, I'm not saying full self-driving. I know Tesla can do this. I'm not, when it comes to Elon, I think that there is no limit. He's going to space. All right. So, I mean, there's no limit. So it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And I think when it comes to full self-driving, I think this is years away. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. I think the technology he has could work, but the infrastructure simply doesn't work. The infrastructure is the biggest issue we have here. And I've gone back, if you look back at, further into my videos, I've mentioned this multiple times. This is one of the biggest reasons she and I will not invest into FSD. Now, I can almost see this. A year down the road, FSD is working perfectly. And I'll be making another video sitting here going, so that time back in, 2020, during that wonderful, wonderful year where I said it's not going to work. And now it's obviously out and it's like $25 million to buy FSD. We made a mistake. Yeah, I don't exactly figure that's going to happen. And the key reason that I'm so confident in it is because I love testing the car. I love testing its capabilities. I love seeing, and so far everything I predicted kind of went along the same path.
Well, I mean, it's taken just autopilot on its own long enough to not do that whole little
swaying back and
forth, especially when the line gets a little bit wider.
Right. So again, the infrastructure is the biggest issue I have with all this. I don't, again, not with Tesla, not with Elon. I think they can pull off, a pretty decent chunk of it working. Now, with that said, when we're talking about ROBOTAXI, we already saw a massive change. Elon already stated that, yes, the first stages of ROBOTAXI are going to have drivers in it, obviously. Duh. It's basically Uber. Okay.
But with Teslas.
So realistically, I mean, we already see what I'm trying to say here. I think it's a feasible idea. I think it's something that can happen, but it's not as easy as it seems. So for those of you guys who are really into FSD, really into ROBOTAXI, calm down a little bit and think about it really hard. And I know there's a lot of people out there who are not Tesla owners that are talking about ROBOTAXI. Here's the thing, guys and girls. Here's the biggest thing about this. We talk to a lot of non-owners. We get approached a great deal when we're out with that car on road trips and all that stuff. So basically what happens is people who are not aware of the car, they don't own the car, there is a big problem, isn't there? Because they see everything and they talk so much about stuff that doesn't make sense. For you and I, somebody who actually owns the car, drives the car, tests the car, because boy am I good at testing these cars. So basically, we know what's going on. We can see the patterns, we can see the issues, we can see the problems.
Plus, you and I would be more willing to get into a ROBOTAXI than, say, somebody who has never been in a self-driving car.
No, and that's a really good point too, because a lot of people, I mean, this is a good way to get people into the car, but then we just recently met somebody who, well, yesterday actually, while washing the car, what happened? You have a person coming to you and going, oh, okay, that's a Tesla, right? And he's like, yes. Well, and they're actually scared of the car, which is, by the way, not a lot of YouTubers talk about this. I would like to point out that there's people that are actually scared of getting into a Tesla because, oh my God, that thing drives by on its own, and you have to explain to them that, no, I mean, it does, but it doesn't. I don't know what to tell you,
Well, I mean, there's also that wonderful thing that you like to do to people.
Oh, yes. I kind of scare him in advance.
Yeah, he scares them, especially with the autopilot, where he'll be in the driver's seat and they'll be in the back, and he turns around to have a conversation with them. Slightly. Where you just do a swivel of the head.
Controlled
and go, hey.
environment, trust me.
No. It's like empty road.
And the other side of it too is my favorite method of scaring people is by getting them into the passenger seat. They're looking around. I close the door and I use summon to get the car moving. And then I send the car off somewhere. And people freak out. They don't know what to do. And again, that's perfectly normal. I just get a kick out of it, and I'm
Okay, and because I know everything, for me, even being in the passenger seat and having the car being summoned while I'm sitting inside of it can be a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, there's actually videos on that.
So, getting into a ROBOTAXI, is everybody going to be comfortable with that?
Right. We want to hear your opinion, and mainly me, because she's a special guest. Thank you again for being part of Summon Tesla, because again, you're not often part of Summon Tesla. But
well, I think you're only doing that now because, we're talking about FSD, first of all, and second of all, it's only because now I have an electric vehicle as well.
And she does. Oh, look at you. Okay, she's plugging this. This is good. Okay, so for those of you who are going to watch, I'm going to put the link in the description below. So you do have a electric motorcycle.
Yes.
Made by Zero Motorcycles.
Yes.
And it's, this is your way of entering into
the EV market without being able to get into a Tesla because, for me, I personally don't see the point in getting a Model 3 because I still think it's a little bit too big for what I use my vehicle for.
This video is long enough. I'm going to finish this out by saying, if you guys do want to see motorcycle stuff, especially with EV, and see what you guys want to think about it, I'll put the link. I cannot believe you plugged that. I honestly, truly didn't know she's going to do that. So I'll put the link in the description below. And
it's part of being a special guest.
I guess so, yeah. And with all that said, I would love to hear your comments, obviously, on what you guys think about, ROBOTAXI, where you guys think it's going to go. Do you think the technology will be ready to actually accept RoboTaxi. Like I said, Elon already stated that in the beginning stages of RoboTaxi, basically it's going to be an Uber. So with that said, I still want to know your perspectives. I want to know what you guys think. And for those of you who are not Tesla owners, especially from you, I would love to hear what you think about, you know, this idea of RoboTaxi.
And would you be willing to get in one,
Yeah,
knowing that there's no driver?
Yeah, that's a big one. That's it. With all that said, once again, thank you so much for being part of this. I know you have other things to do. Actually, you're filming your own things for the other channel. So with that said, I'm going to say, as always, please stay safe, drive safe, and till next video. Bye.
Bye.